I was fresh out of college, and it was my first internship in a new congregation. And I was to go to my mentor, my future mentor, to introduce myself. And I thought, how is this gonna work out? The inner critic said to me, well, I'm not so sure. So I went with a lot of trepidation to knock on the door. And he came and he opened up. And I walked in. And we went to his office. And something started right there. Jesus, when he talks about suffering and struggling, and Peter getting in the way, Peter trying to stop him, my friends, what I love about that scripture and our good scriptures is, Jesus says, there is no way without suffering. If we're truly honest and open and looking into the mirror, there is no way without suffering, especially when you're in it with heart, mind, and soul. And Jesus says, pick up your cross. Now, our crosses may look a little bit differently. He doesn't say, pick up my cross. Jesus carried his own cross, but we pick up ours. And there may be pieces of that are very individually shaped and formed from our past times, from the situations we struggle with right now. But we're invited to pick that up and not to run from it. I love this poem by Rumi because it's an invitation to me not to run, but to open up and to welcome. It's the guest house. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes in as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing out your house and may take some of your delight. The dark thoughts, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing, invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. The challenges, the pain, the frustration, the feeling down, the inner critic has been sent as a messenger from beyond, an invitation. As Paul writes, we're struggling, we're wrestling. It's not easy, my friends. It has never been easy. When you look all the shiny pictures on Facebook and ideal vacation and all the highlights, that is only one part of life. There is more to it when you come down and go into the depth. And I think of as this table, and often the tables we're invited into is, who is gathering at your table? I think of when I have the inner conversation, at this table, at my table, there sits an inner critic who says, well, I'm not sure you're good enough. Well, I'm not sure you tried hard enough. I wonder at your table who is sitting, maybe there is a dad who slammed the table and said, as long as you put your feet under this table. You follow these rules. And you may feel that still resonating in you and have a conversation with you. There may be a wonderful friend who loves you unconditionally, who is with you, who accepts you, who loves you just for who you are. And there may be an inner child at your table, the joyful, the trusting, the sunshine, the child that is just, wow, discovering the world. Or there may be, and you can add your own people who are invited, your own parts to the table for a conversation, for a welcome. And in that sense, I think Jesus meant, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I will be present there. Our faith, our hope, our trust is that when we gather at the table together and the different parts of ourselves, there is a sacred presence when we listen deeply, when we open up, when we welcome the conversation and are present with them. Come as you are, isn't it? I remember many of our eating as a family at the kitchen table, and there is something unique about a kitchen table. And there was the laughing and the joy, the celebration, the chuckling, and there was the heartbreak and the grieving. And Paul, as he writes in the letter to the Romans, says, it belongs all there to the table. You don't cut half of yourself out. It's welcome at the table of grace. Even the parts we don't like, even the parts that we wrestle with and struggle with. That's why we call it messy church, my friends. It's not all to be buttoned up, have your tie on, have it all together, live the perfect life. Still looking for the person with the perfect life. Anyone here? It's where you can open up, just be yourself, relax into grace, and know, no matter how you feel, no matter the heartbreak or where you feel backstabbed or where you had an awful week, come as you are with your messy life, with your broken heart, with your not knowing, throwing up your hands and shaking your head and wondering, oh my gosh, this is more than I can handle. It's one of the situations just a few years ago when our son Felix, we gathered in the kitchen and he said, Mom and Dad, I think I'm a boy. We had a group hug. We teared up. And I had no idea what this would mean. It was a long journey, a learning, a roller coaster of emotions. It was like, whoa, my head spinning. But then what do you do when it's family? You love them for who they are. Isn't that what it is about? And it was a learning, and it was a growing, and it continues to be. It's who we are. Welcome at the table. Loved for who you are. Even the parts that we try to keep out, even the parts that we don't try to show and be present with. I remember knocking at the door right out of college, meeting my mentor with trepidation and a little bit of shaking feet. We met in the office. And at some point came lunchtime around. He said, Dietmar, come to the kitchen. Took some soup out of the fridge, put it in the microwave, and once I ended up in his kitchen, I knew it would be okay. For everyone, a room at the table. Isn't that what we are longing for? That we try to offer to everyone.